Thanks for joining us. We're going to be talking about things going on around town with our guest, Nicolas Cabrera, had his own show. He's coming back soon. And George Gonzalez, who's the host of lots of shows. So let's talk about, first of all, what's going on in Coral Gables and things you're working on there.
Lots of cool things happening in Coral Gables. Michael, thanks for having us on the show today. George, nice to meet you.
No, pleasure.
Yeah, it's fun being back in this studio because I started with Miami Community News here with Javier Baños. You remember that?
Oh, yes.
It was almost a year and a half ago.
Where's Javier Baños? Where are you, buddy?
He's got to bring his show back. He's got to bring his show back. Anyway, really exciting. We started a company. It's called Flamingo Fling Productions. We're going to be Coral Gables' premier events company. And this Friday, we have the Makers Market at Night, located at Bay 13 Brewery. That's 65 Alhambra Plaza, for anybody that doesn't know. It's actually one of Coral Gables' only breweries. We only have two. Can anybody name the second one?
No.
Ready for it?
7-Eleven.
Close. Titanic. It's right next to the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Right? There's a little convenience store there. Anyway, so this is a really cool event that we've been working on. We started at the beginning of the year on Saturdays, and then we realized that there was this little niche on a Friday night in Coral Gables, especially First Fridays. So I curate 30 different vendors, if not more. A beautiful variety. We have everything from soaps and candles, from lights for the soul to headwear and jewelry, purses from Nuria, Serrano Designs. I'm trying to remember all the vendors. We've got so many. Sweet licks, which is like cookies and ice cream. Everything that you can imagine. And we come together on the first Friday of every month, and we create this experience in downtown Coral Gables at Bay 13. So, if you get there a little later in the evening, the lights will turn on, and we've got these pink floodlights that light up this bougainvillea wall. And then we've got music playing. I'm your DJ Spotify. And we have a really good...
Wait, say that one more time.
I'm your DJ Spotify.
Okay, Nicholas the DJ too.
Yeah. Anyway, we have a great time. Great beer selection at Bay 13. It's an Australian brewery. So they... Yeah. Oh, you like?
Okay, there we go.
Ilion's contributing today.
Ilion knocking us out of
Sound guy's back.
Production wants to be in the show.
He does. And they have a great show. Didn't they do a little show for a while?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a great experience, and we'll talk plenty about it this afternoon. But I wanted to come on the show today to highlight some of our vendors. And
is there going to be happy hour?
There usually is a happy hour on Friday nights at the brewery, but I'm not sure what it is, so I can't speak on their behalf.
Okay.
And George, by the way, he's a connoisseur of great food.
Yes, I've been going to Bay 13 practically since before it opened. I was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're a young lad, but I'm sure you remember Mervin's.
Oh sure.
I was looking inside. And like open.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Oh my God, I was dying. And then when they put a day to go, I get, oh my God, the place was like jam packed. I couldn't get in, but luckily I was able to go the following day. It wasn't as bad. And the funny thing was, I was able to do New Year's. I did New Year's at Bay 13. It was fantastic because I love the fountain.
Yeah.
And it has a little green turf area. So me and my wife got a beautiful dinner, and then we celebrated midnight with a bottle of champagne, and then we did our little TikTok on the fountain, and it was a memorable New Year's. I have nothing but praise for Bay 13, and we go there for brunch all the time. And some people say it's 5:00 somewhere. I'm telling you, I start right there at 10:30 in the morning. I start having my old fashions.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God.
So be there for 5 hours before it opens.
Yeah. No, and it's really cool. You're talking about this fountain. We try to utilize that entire space. So we put all the vendors entirely around it. So from the moment you approach the brewery from Galliano all the way to the bar, there are vendors across the entire area.
Awesome.
And it's really nice.
And people, when we go out, strolling or shopping or looking for a place to go, we like to see those things where, there's something new, there's something different, and here's a variety of things. So it gets to be a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, in a former life, you did some things with the Miami Heat and the Florida Marlins. Can we get some of that up on the screen?
Give me 1 second.
All right, he's going to look it up. So, but you go out to dinner a lot.
Yes, I'm a big foodie, obviously. I was in foodie shape for a while, but it's great. I love it. I go like 3, 4, 5 times, depending on the occasion. Sometimes we even do all 7 days. But we love going to the new restaurants. I follow a couple of I follow Yelp, obviously, to see what's new in the market. So I'm very relevant on what's going on in
And you post
Coral
pictures
Gables.
of you and your wife.
Yes.
And we want to see more of the dishes rather than your mug. So make sure we get to.
Well, that's my staple. That's my old fashioned.
Right.
And believe it or not, I've turned on a lot of people into drinking old fashions. And we've almost got like an old fashioned community now.
Well, I got to go find one of our shows from when we did In the City because my dad came on. And I told him, I said, if you come on the show, you have to teach everybody how to make your famous old fashions. So he brought all the ingredients and he made old fashions on the show for us. I'm going to find the episode. I'm going to send it to you.
Oh, you better invite me. You better invite
I'm going to invite
Dad.
you to the next episode
There
that
we
we do
go.
that on. Now, so
And he could be my honorary dad.
honorary dad. Yeah. Well, but you're talking about some new restaurants in Coral Gables. Have you been to Crudo's Art House yet?
I've driven by, but I have not got in yet.
What a cool place. They've got this huge. Oh, well, let's do that.
Okay.
I want to take
All
away
right.
from that.
So right there, tell us about that.
Well, that was around the year 2000. I was dancing for the Florida Marlins, and we were still at the old stadium, Joe Robbie, now known Hard Rock. But that was a fantastic time in my life. We were on Kelly and Regis. We were on Fox Happy Hour. I would do a lot of media for Spanish television.
And what were you called?
My stage name, like it still is today, is Disco George. And just so you know, give you a little history. Disco George came about back in the day when people used to go clubbing. I learned to dance disco, and not everybody knew how to dance disco. So I would get girls to come. Oh, can I dance with you? Can I dance with you? And I'm like, well, after Maria, Carmen, and Blanca, you could go. So I would actually get girls waiting in line. So they're like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm waiting for Disco George.
It's a good problem to have.
Oh, it was great. It was great. So, but believe it, dancing, threw me. So you believe it or not, learning how to dance has helped me socially, career-wise, because it's opened so many doors. And now eating and dancing put together, I'm here.
It's a great expression, whether you call it dancing or singing or playing, just being able to let people know who you are and to be able to get on stage and do that, whether it's a raised stage or not.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Something that I like about his concept is that you can mix music, food, and purchasing. You put it all together, and it's the escape that everybody really needs from the stress that we have.
Well, we live in an experience economy these days.
Yes.
Everything that you do has to revolve around an experience, doing something. So we talk about Topgolf. Bowling was one of those. So what we're trying to do is not just like a regular market. We want this to be an experience. You come, you see, you feel the energy. It's part of a community. So yeah, absolutely. That's what we're trying to do with this. And I kind of want to see you come and dance now at the market.
Okay, so all right,
he's like, no.
Do we have some other pictures of Disco George?
No.
Okay. So you also did some work with the basketball team.
Well, yeah, that's how it all started. I was a
Which
regular.
team was that?
The Miami Heat. I was with the Miami. I was a season ticket holder for over 25 years. And one day they just played one of my favorite songs, which is Peanut Butter Jelly. I'm sure you know.
I haven't heard that song in so long.
Yeah. So, I was there with my buddies and they played Peanut Butter Jelly. So I had to get up and, get down a little bit. And everybody was loving it. I was on the Jumbotron, practically a star was born, right?
That's awesome.
So before I knew it, some people from the Heat organization came down. They're like, do you mind if we put you on the Jumbotron? And, and I did a couple commercials with them, their intros, those bits that they do, like when they're clapping with Bernie. It was great.
So you just got up, spontaneously danced. Was that several times before they communicated with you?
Yeah, after a couple times, they saw that I was, sitting in my, my season.
And they came over to you at a game.
Yeah. It was great.
A star was born right then. It says so much about being out there and doing the things that you love doing that you never know what's going to happen. You could have said no, but you said yes.
Yeah, it was. Well, I've always been a big ham. I always like dancing. And
are we getting instructions from Elian?
No, you're good.
All right.
So it was, the funny thing is many moons ago, I was very shy because my parents were a little older when they had me. So I was always, I was raised between an older crowd. So I was always, back in the day, they would tell you, children only speak when spoken to, So, but when I was home, my mom would dance with my dad. They were big dancers in Cuba. So every time we went to a party, when the Gonzalez's arrived, they were like, hold on a second. Luis and Olga are going to start the party. And they would always break the ice. And believe it or not, that actually came upon me. Also, I'll never forget. You ever heard of Club Deco's 1235?
I'm too young for that.
1235 Washington Avenue. I'll never forget Celia Cruz. I'm sure you know Celia Cruz. Right? There was the first salsa night
They
ever.
call the Queen of Salsa. No?
Yes, the Queen of Salsa. And everybody was, at South Beach, a real nice club, but everybody was afraid to go on the dance floor. All of a sudden, she starts playing, and I see nobody goes out to the dance floor. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? I'm like, everybody's too worried about who's going to be the first one to break the ice. Guess who broke the ice?
Let me guess.
Disco George
Love
in the
it, George.
house.
So, Nicholas, tell us about things you're a young man, all right, but you've been active in Coral Gables. Your family's been active in Coral Gables. So why did you select this business?
So it's actually a really cool story. I went to school up in St. Augustine, Florida, called a college called Flagler College. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Henry Flagler, railroad baron.
Yep.
And every Saturday morning, I would go to the St. Augustine Amphitheater Farmers Market, and it became tradition and ritual. Got to be there every Saturday morning. And I would first thing I do is I get a muffin from Hugo's Muffins, these gluten-free muffins that were out of this world. And he would run out of blueberry muffins first. And I mean, if you didn't get there in the first hour, 2 hours, there was nothing. But it was like part of that experience. And then the second thing I do is I get a coffee from the Growers Alliance food truck. And the third thing I do is go to the deck and listen to the Free Rangers play bluegrass music. And what I noticed
And that was early in the morning.
That was always between 8 to 10, 8 to 11, because the market would end right at noon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go to work because I would work at a hotel or a soap store that I was working at there. Funny enough, I worked at a soap store in St.
That was a
Augustine.
clean job, huh?
It was, oh my gosh, it smelled delicious all the time. But yeah, there we go. Anyway, and it just was always a wonderful experience. It brought people together. It brought families together. And so when I came back, I really wanted to create a very similar experience here. So what I did was I took the best of my two favorite farmers markets. I took what we had from St. Augustine, and I took what we had from the Coral Gables farmers market when I was growing up. Because at the Coral Gables farmers market in the early years, they would do cooking demonstrations, and Actors Playhouse would come and do performances. I think they used to do like kids' book readings. So there was always a lot of activity. And I wanted to do something very similar to that. So that's how I started on Saturdays. And then Saturday afternoons, it's just too blistering hot. It's just hot out there, man. So we moved it to the Friday nights, and we found our own distinctive features of the market, which were the lights and the music and the types of vendors. So we're not necessarily a farmer's market, we're more of an artisan market. We don't have produce. We're trying to get that more in the fall. But we have, the baked goods and the jewelers and the handcrafted products, the artwork. So it became more of its own experience. And that's kind of what inspired me to do it.
And when there are events like that, it's such a warm feeling when you go and you go, here it is in our town, all right? And you recognize some of the people that are there, and it's a great feeling. And the vendors like to be there because they get to meet new people that they haven't seen before.
Right.
So that's Friday night. You're having
Friday
something?
nights, yeah.
Right.
And so Coral Gables, we have an incredible business improvement district. And their Instagram experience, Coral Gables, if you're not following it, you should be, because it lets you know what's happening around town all the time.
And is your market being announced?
I think they send it out in their weekly newsletter. The Bay 13 is part.
Where
of
could I
bid.
keep on following you to know when the market?
Good question. So the best place to follow us is on our Instagram at Makers Market South Florida. I have to give my sister some credit. She has been doing an amazing job helping me with Instagram. She's been creating some great posts. Our following's gone up by like 100 in the last week. And that for me is just extraordinary. And so that's the best way to keep up with us. But the idea is to complement anything that's already happening in downtown Coral Gables. So the Makers Market is not supposed to compete with anybody. It's supposed to contribute to the economic development, the business of what we experience already down there. And I keep using the word experience because that's, it's a key word for us.
Well, you got a key location because
we
you're right across the street from Geralda.
Right.
So you could have best of both worlds.
Exactly. And by the way, Geralda is so much fun.
Oh my God, I love it.
On any given night, it's my favorite place to go. You start at Bay 13, you hang out, and you make your way to Giralda. And if you didn't know this, Coil Taco has a back room.
Oh yeah,
They have a speakeasy in the back.
I heard about it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's amazing.
Is it?
And then
Do you know what time it opens?
It opens pretty early on Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays, like around 8-ish. It's a little slower then.
Until what time?
Like midnight.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a great time. And then you hang out around there for the evening. It's,
You know where I love to hang out besides Clutch Burger.
Clutch Burger. There
Clutch Burger.
Where are you, Steve Bradley?
Steve Bradley, I need a dark beer.
I want a Clutch Lager.
Yeah, I love going to Clutch, but I love hanging out at Sabata.
Savada.
I love Sabata. Have you been to Sabata?
No.
Oh, we got to go for lunch there.
That's a cool space.
It's beautiful. It's overlooking Giralda, and it's got a nice bar. The food is excellent, and the owner George. Hello, you can never go wrong with a George.
Let's talk about City of Coral Gables. All right, it's a beautiful town, right? And I understand each city, each county, throughout the state, throughout the country, has an issue with housing and how the local businesses are going to be able to take care of those people. Because I was just reading, in 15 years, another 4 million apartments are going to be needed.
Yeah,
and I'm sure Coral Gables is going to be one of them.
Well, yeah, we already experienced a little bit of the housing issue. There's some more affordable housing in the Gables that's getting torn down to build higher end condos, and we're gonna be seeing that. We're gonna be experiencing that. Now, I live in the North Gables Ponce neighborhood, which is considered one of the more. It's a larger rental community. I rent, just about my age. It's just easier for me.
Are you in a building or in a home?
I'm in a condo building actually,
Condo building.
which is a really cool building. It's one of the only ones in the neighborhood that has a pool.
Oh wow!
Which is really cool, and it's on a corner. We've got this coral rock wall around it that used to be the wall for the mansion that was there originally. So the coral rock wall goes all the way around the block. We have these little features in the Gables that we don't realize. But I'm right across the street from the women's club.
Okay.
So we're going to experience a little bit of that housing
and
issue.
Lots of people are going to move in, and they need to have local businesses where they can go and spend time and be able to shop and go to stroll.
Right.
And lots of restaurants. Coral Gables is filled with great restaurants.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially the North Gables Ponce neighborhood is becoming almost like a second downtown area. We've got a lot of businesses up that way, and I'm going to recommend some restaurants, so you got to go check them out. I'm sure you know of Tinta Cafe.
No, that one I heard
She
of.
says 4 to 5 times a week.
I think
it's.
We'll make a list before we go.
I think it's 5 to 8. All right.
Well, we're lucky,
or more.
Yeah, but like this restaurant that I'm talking about, Tinta Cafe.
Tinta Cafe, yes.
They just won a Bib Gourmand from
Yeah.
Michelin, which is awesome to have in our neighborhood. So exactly what you're talking about, we're getting these businesses that are catering to our neighborhoods. Market Kitchen is another one right there, Ponce, Mallorca. We've got a mini Target now in this neighborhood. So again, little downtown area and a more rental community in Coral Gables, which is super cool.
And you live nearby West
in
Miami,
the city of West Miami,
and,
which is becoming the new mini Gables.
It is. Yeah.
And right around the corner, your wife is.
Children's.
Yeah, and what's her name? Blanca.
Blanca.
All right, she's always smiling with him. All right.
Hi, honey.
Yeah. So let's talk about what does the fall look like, which is right around the corner through Christmas.
So fall for us at the market. So we're going to continue to do first Fridays or Fridays at Bay 13. The holidays are going to be really fun because we're going to be expanding outside of the Gables a little bit, ideally. And at the end of this month, we're also going to be expanding to the beach. We have a makers market at the beach starting on August 27th and 28th. Wow. So we're trying to cater more to those other audiences as well. And then in the holidays, we'll try to revamp a little bit so that it continues to attract those holiday shoppers. For me, the number one thing for me is my vendors. I need to know that they're doing well. Yes. I need to be marketing for them, promoting them, because that's how we're all successful.
So maybe on your show, you bring in some of those vendors and keep that going on. We have 5 minutes left.
Okay. Right. I have a quick question. You doing anything for Halloween? Because Halloween is huge in Coral Gables.
I'm working on it. I can't talk about it yet, but I have some ideas.
And certainly at Halloween, if not before, that's when we started get in the holiday mood, right? And it's like great. We talked about pumpkin pie. I'm waiting for that. All right.
I know.
Thanksgiving.
Well, Target already has Halloween stuff.
It's August. It's August.
Yes, believe it or not, I saw it the other day.
I just can't wait to get through this month. Right. And today's just the first.
Yes. And and we're all waiting. All right, get the kids back at school. All right, get the whatever traffic is going to be there.
Oh my
let
God,
it be,
traffic.
right?
Yeah.
And so that'll get us back into a cycle this year. Meaning that the next 12 months is going to be pretty good for most of us, in spite of the nonsense that we hear. I always ask people when they start complaining about the national news, I go, how about you personally? What's going on in your life? Not the other stuff. But I think if we can focus on that, all right, then we'll be better off, and our kids will be better off, and our grandkids will be better off. My family, my daughter just moved to Coral Gables. They live on the Coral Gables waterway. Went fishing on their dock with my grandson.
Oh, beautiful.
That's very cool.
It was one of those like, how good is this? All right. So we had a good time. I'm so glad that you're here. Tell us the name again of your organization.
So it's Flamingo Fling Productions, and we're bringing a talk show right here to Miami Community News. It's called Flock Talk with Nick. We're going to be featuring some really cool people from around town.
What day is that going to be?
We're going to talk about that because I got some things with work. I got to work with Michael. Ideally Thursdays at 3, I think.
Yeah. And George, yeah, yours.
I'm on Fridays at 11.
Fridays at 11.
I thought it was Friday at 11 in the back studio.
Back
And I'd like you
studio.
to try up here also, so it's a little bit different environment. We can change it up. You can see we put in some sound material on the boards.
It's
on
pretty
the
quiet
walls.
in here.
Yeah, it is.
I saw Grant at the window, and I think he was trying to yell, Grant Miller here, but we couldn't hear him. So,
Nicholas, thanks
Yeah,
for
he's
being
there.
here. All right.
Thank you,
George,
Michael.
see you.
Always a pleasure.
George, nice to see
Pleasure.
you, sir.
And-
Absolutely.
And Ilan, thanks for doing the show. Folks, thanks for joining us, and have a good time.
All right.
See ya.